Good morning, everybody. This is Interactive Slides, the primary edition. We've got a lot to go over, but I don't want you to be too nervous. It's okay. We'll be fine. This is being recorded, so sometimes I get super excited and I start talking really fast, or I might click on something and you might not quite see what I click on. Or you just walk away and say, oh my goodness, what did she say? I can't remember. This is being recorded and you will end up getting a link to this and all of the other sessions that happened this week. The handouts for today, I will go ahead and pop those back in the chat, the link to that. So if you want to go ahead and grab that, you can. Let's go ahead and start with this. In the chat, will you please put kind of what your experience level is with slides? So it could be Karina. I have never worked with slides. I'm new to slides. I've used them, but I want to learn a few more tricks. It might be, you know what, I'm pretty good with slides. Tell me what your experience level is so we can kind of see where we're starting, and we'll go from there. Okay, so many people with just a little bit of experience or moderate experience, and that's okay. The good news is we're going to go over a bunch of tools today that will hopefully help you along your way. So thank you for sharing that. A couple of housekeeping things before we move on. If you have not, or if your name on your Zoom video does not match your Clovis ID badge, the name on your Clovis ID badge, you need to make sure and get that changed. That's one way that we are taking attendance for today. How do you change it? Well, here are our steps. If you click on participants and then hover over your name, you can go ahead and change that. So we want your Zoom name to match your ID badge. A couple more things. If you did not already have your breakfast, it's okay. Grab it really quick. Eat it while you're watching, grab a drink, whatever you need to kind of help us out here and make this the best training possible would be great. Keep yourself muted. There are 60 of us in here right now. If you do have a question, pop that in the chat and we will pause every once in a while and answer the questions in the chat. If you're having problems with the stream, you can actually turn off your camera. Okay, by clicking on the camera in the bottom left-hand corner, that will use less internet. And you will most likely be able to fix any problems that you're having. If that does not fix it, get out, get back in. And then the ultimate fix is always restart the computer and then get back in. Okay, again, here are the handouts. I also put the link in the chat. I will put that in again. And last but not least, we do have a moderator for this session. We have Dr. Debbie Para. She's going to be helping in the chat and being a fabulous moderator. Debbie, would you like to say something?
It's great to sort of see you all this morning, and it's nice to see so many of you want this training. I know I'm going to learn a lot, so I'm just here, and if you have things in the chat, I'll just let Karina know as things come up, and appreciate you being here.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, you might even be saying to yourself, I don't even know what interactive slides is, and that's okay. That's okay. So let's talk about how we could use interactive slides. So it could be while you're in a Zoom session, right? And we could have an interactive slide up that the students can see, and you are kind of walking through the steps of how to do it. They may be interacting with you in a certain way. To kind of guide you on what what should I do next, that sort of thing. So it could be while you're teaching. And there are several resources that I will give you that Curriculum Instruction has put together that will help you along this path. It could be a situation where this is independent practice. So you have a worksheet from Benchmark or from Ready, and you want to make it interactive. We're going to show you how to do that today. You have your favorite stations that you really like to do with students. Let's look at ways that we can also make those interactive. And last but not least, we do have, I'll show you a couple enrichment things. So it could be, maybe I want to make a slide with a bunch of math manipulatives on there. And you know what? If the kids want to kind of take their time and play with some of it, that's okay. Maybe it is a slide for a field trip that you guys usually take. You know, I don't know if we're going to be able to do field trips this year. You know, I don't get to make that decision. But if you normally go to the zoo, could we make a slide with you know, pictures and videos and things that they would see and experience if they did go to the zoo, to kind of bring kind of a sense of normalcy to them. So those are some ideas there. Now, here's what I want to say. Do not get overwhelmed. Find one place to start and start there. I am going to give you a lot of information today, and I just want you to find one place that you're comfortable, and we're going to start there. Okay? Even myself as a tech coach, I didn't introduce myself, but let me go ahead and do that. My name is Karina Cantrell. I am one of 2 tech coaches in the Clovis High area. All areas have a tech coach assigned to them. And so if you don't know who your tech coach is, reach out to me and I will let you know who is in your area. And they are here to assist you. They are here to answer your questions, answer your emails, you know, walk you through something. So please take advantage of that. Okay, what we'll do today is we're going to start by making some of these from scratch. And that's going to give us an opportunity to kind of look at the tools involved in how to make them. Okay. And you may be saying, well, I don't know if I feel comfortable making anything from scratch. It's not necessarily about that. It's about understanding and kind of learning those tools. Then we're going to show you some already created materials that you can modify, whether it be from Ready or Benchmark. And so that's kind of what we're going to do today. Okay, so let's get started. Now, if you would like to click along with us, try this out as we go along, here is your process. Okay, now your Zoom window most likely is taking up the whole window, right? So if you press the escape key, that will minimize your window and then you can add a new tab. Now, if you are, you know, a little uncomfortable with kind of toggling between a Zoom and trying to do a slide, it's okay. You can just take notes, you can watch, and you can rewatch the video at another time. So wherever you're at, if you're the type that, Karina, I really want to click and play along, you're going to go ahead and do escape on the Zoom, and then you can still see the video there, and then we'll add a new tab. Okay, so getting to Google Slides. There are 2 ways to get there. I always go the first way. The first way is I usually go directly to my Drive. Now, to get to Google Slides, we do not go through Clever. The students do go through Clever and click on Google Drive, but the teachers, it's not set up for teachers to go that way. So we go through just the regular Google Drive. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on a new tab. And then I'm going to come over here and make sure that I'm signed in with my work account. I am. And if I'm not, I'll go ahead and sign in. I'll come up here to I call this the waffle. Everything with Google has a food name, I think. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to Drive. Okay, so waffle, then Drive. And then we're going to go ahead and go New Google Slides. Okay. So in the left-hand corner, let me show you that again. New. Okay, new Google Slides. I wanted to be feisty for a moment, right? Technology is never feisty, is it? Okay, so we now have a blank presentation. This is what it looks like when you call it up. I like to kind of clean things up because I want as much workspace as I can get. So I close out the themes here. Also, I want a blank layout. So I'm going to come to Layout and do blank. I'm going to do Layout and do blank. And that's going to give me a nice blank workspace. First thing we're going to do, or we're going to talk about, is creating a click and drag or like sorting type activity. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and do like a short E, short O, short U type of sorting activity. However, this could be, I'm going to sort cause and effect. I'm going to sort, is this a character in the story or is this a setting? I'm going to sort shapes, you know. So there's lots of things that we can do with this. But first things first, we want to go ahead and enter our table. So if we're going to insert, we're going to go insert, and we're going to say table. And then when I scroll over here, I can make the table any size I want. I want just a 3x2. I could just make it a single row. But for this, we're going to do a 3x2. And then I'm going to go grab it and move it up. I'm going to slide it down, make it a little bit bigger. And then I want a nice little heading up here. And then to make this bigger, if I click in here, I can just do enter, and then it's going to make it a little bit bigger for us. Okay, and if I click off of it, I don't really like the look of those lines. I don't know if you're sitting at home or wherever you are going, oh, those are kind of wimpy looking lines, right? I like my lines kind of a little chunky. So if I click back on it and I come over here to what's called the border weight, I can go ahead and choose another weight. And let's say 8. Oops, that is not what we wanted, right? I'm going to come to our undo. And that's because, okay, the difference was I was actually clicked in this cell. So if you see my cursor, it's only going to do the border there. If I click off of it and make sure my cursor is not in there, see there's no cursor anywhere, it's going to actually change the whole table. So let's go border weight. Let's do an 8, and then I'm just going to do a standard black. Okay, nice. I like that. Okay, so if I want to come in here and I even want to highlight and go to my paint bucket, let's say I want to make this all black, and maybe I want my text to be white. I want it to really stand out. I want it to go in the center. And then let's do some Oswald here. Okay, so maybe we're going to do short U, short E. What was the other one? Short O. Okay, so those are my headings in there. Okay. Now, what this needs, or what this is lacking, are directions. So what we want to do is create some directions. So I'm going to come up here to the text box. And then we're going to say directions. Okay, and I'm going to drag this out so we can see what I typed. Highlight this out. Let's change it. Maybe we'll even put a little border around that, sure. Okay, so here's the key. You ready? Here's our first key. We want the background to not move, because what I know about students, especially students of all grade level, but especially littler guys, is what's going to happen is they're going to come in here and things are going to start to move, or things are going to start to be deleted, and then we're going to have tears, we're going to have, you know, all sorts of things. So we don't want that. We want to make sure that everything that we put on here cannot be moved. And here's the trick, okay? First, get everything you want on there that you do not want moved, okay? And then once we're here, we're going to go File, Download, and PNG. So if we go File, Download, PNG, it's going to download just this slide to my computer. And I can see right here in the bottom left-hand corner, it has downloaded, okay? I'm going to click here and do another slide. Oops, and I want the layout to be blank. Because this is the one I'm kind of working with, and I might not delete it right away because I might look at it and say, ooh, I misspelled something, or that's not quite right. So I added a new slide just by coming over here. I can actually go here and do blank, right? Now I want to take what downloaded and make it my background. So I'm going to go background, choose the image, and then I want to upload it. I can browse, or I can be super efficient and just drag it in, right? We like to save ourselves a little time. I'm just going to drag that in. Okay, and press done. Now, if I were a student and I were trying to do something, now is it moving? It's not moving, right? This is like music to teachers' ears, right? They can't delete it. Okay, so that's key. Always have your background locked first. And the way we did that is we went to File, Download, PNG. Okay, now we want to go ahead and create the things that they're going to drag and drop. So I want to insert images. So I'm going to go Insert, Image, and we'll say search the web. And let's see here. Let's search for a net. Now, what we also want to know about this, usually we like images that don't have a background, that kind of have a transparent background. And the way we can get that is we can insert the word net and then the word transparent, or we can insert the word net and then PNG. Those both mean the same thing. So if I wanted to do net and let's say PNG, and here's a net here, I can click it and press insert, or I can just be super efficient and drag it onto my workspace. And then I'm going to grab it from a corner. Oops. I'm going to grab it from a corner and I'm going to just resize it real quick. It looks like it flipped it. Oh, that's okay. I'm okay if it goes that direction. Okay, and then let's pop back over here and let's say I want a bug. Oh yeah, cute little ladybug, always, right? Let's see here, we want a spot. We'll make this a spot. It's not quite what I was looking for. It's more of a splat, right? Okay, and let's do one more. Let's see here. Okay, let's see where they went. Where did they all go? There we go. Okay, so I'm going to resize them. So here's when we are building items for the kids, there's a couple things we can do. We can put the items on the side like this, okay? I think for really little guys, it works best if you put it actually on the slide. But you also have all of this space here around, all the gray space. So sometimes teachers will go ahead and put their draggables here on the side, or they will put directions here on the side. So when you share these slides, they will be able to see those directions. They will be able to see those draggables, okay?
Karina, can I interrupt you for just a sec? This is Debbie. So I think for some of our newer people, they think you're going a little fast. Can you, and are asking, can you show that again?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
And when you say click here, what does that mean?
On what part?
Chris, do you want to, when you say click here, any part.
Any part. Okay. So I'll try to say where I'm clicking. If that's your question, I'll try to say where you're clicking. Okay. And so a lot of these skills these tools that we're going to use multiple times today. So just so you know, okay, I will try to slow down. Okay, so let's do that again. We want to go ahead and add in another one. So here we go. We're going to go to Insert, Image. And if you actually had an image on your computer, you could go ahead and upload it, but I'm just going to do a search the web, okay? And then I'm going to say, let's say a slug, right? Oh boy, lots of slugs. Let's go for this guy. Oh no, let's go for the cute one. So I went ahead and I grabbed it and I just dragged it on to our workspace. Okay, so that's how we can get a image. Okay, now you may not want images, you may want words. So let's take a look at how we can do words instead of images. And when I say words, it could be letters. So I'm going to come up to the text box and then I'm going to create kind of the size I want. And then we'll type in our words. So we've got bug. Let's format it the way you want. And then we're going to save ourselves time. I'm going to show you how we can save a little bit of time. We'll change the font. Okay. I like to have a border around my card, right? So we're going to come back up here to our border weight. Okay. And so I think that looks pretty good. Here's how we can save ourselves time. Okay. So if I click on it and I want to copy and paste and make more, because it's the way, you know, the font is the way I like it, the border's the way I like it. I can do Control C and Control V, but we can save ourselves a little bit more time and just do Control D. Control D means duplicate, okay? But if you're more comfortable with Control C and V, that's A-okay. I'm gonna do Control D, and then I'm just gonna make a few here, okay? And then I'm just gonna slide them over here so I can see what these words are, and then I will get these updated. So just save myself a little bit of time. So maybe one of the words is wet, net, spot. Slug, okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and sort them where they belong. And let me show you one other trick that will hopefully save you a little bit of time. And ideally I would have had one more, but let's go ahead and pretend I have another one, okay? So if you were kind of checking this, if students did this independently and you wanted to be able to check really quickly if it's correct, right? One way to do that is to color code them, okay? So to color code them, I can click on one. So I'm gonna click on slug, and I'm gonna come up to the paint bucket. They call it the fill color, but I always call it the paint bucket because it's a paint bucket. And then I can go ahead and choose a color. I'm gonna click on the next one, and then I'm gonna choose another color. So each one's gonna get a different color.
Sweet.
And then let's make this one red. So now if I were having to look through all 20 of my students, all 30 of my students, or however many students you have, and I needed to look through these slides really quickly, I could remember orange, green, blue, purple, red, right? I can kind of remember that color combination. And then as I'm clicking from each kid to each kid, it's an easier check, right? Do you have to do that? Absolutely not. But that is kind of a little bit of a trick that will hopefully help you out. Okay, I'm gonna pause and see if we have any questions.
So we have a couple, thank you. Can you lock the size of the pictures? So when the pictures are on there for the students, can the students mess with them and make them bigger or smaller?
Yes, they can, and let's talk about, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was gonna talk about next. They can, because what's gonna happen is, or what could happen is, they could come in here and, oh, the bug is going to eat the spot, right? They can make it super big by accident or purpose, or they can delete. So here's what we want to model for them when you are sharing this activity. So we have a magical miracle button called the undo button, right? And it fixes sometimes tears and sometimes our mistakes. And so what I'll do is I'll show the students this button here. I'll demonstrate it. It's also right here next to the plus sign, and I'll demonstrate for them, how to use it. So, and usually I'll be kind of silly with it. I'll say, okay, here's my bug. Okay, I want to move my bug over. Oh man, I made a mistake. And I'll tell the kids, I'm like, should I start crying because I made a mistake? No, no, no. Remember, we have that button that'll help us fix our mistakes. So they can come over here to the undo button. And every time they click it, it's going to basically go a step back. So I explicitly teach that button to the students because these pictures are not, well, they could be lockable if we did this, in the sense that, no, they would not be lockable, no. They would still be able to resize them. So this would be resizing. And they'd still be able to delete them. But if we teach them the undo button and, life's not over if it disappears, it's okay. Okay, does that kind of make sense? Okay.
I think so. It does to me. I know nothing.
And here's the other thing. All these handouts I've given you, I've given you kind of the step-by-step of these tools, okay? So when we walk away and you're like, what were the steps again? Look back at these handouts because that will hopefully help. So that's undo. Let me show you another trick here. Okay, so there's a slide with instructions here, but let's say I'm gonna grab this cute little guy here, and I'm gonna put him on a new slide. let's say we were doing something with money, or we were doing something with counters, and we want a stack of them, or we were doing something with our alphabet and we were building words and we need a bunch of A's and we need a bunch of R's, right? How do we get a stack of them? This is how we do it. And here's how we can do it without spending too much time, right? So here are some of the steps that you can do that. So I have just one bug here. So remember, Control D duplicates. You can do copy and paste, but we're going to do Control D. And I'm going to make, I don't know, a bunch of them. I'm just going to come in here and do a bunch of these little guys, okay? Now, I could take my time trying to stack them individually on each other, but I don't have time for that. And let me show you a trick to save yourself time. In order to grab all of these at once, I'm going to take my cursor and I'm going to kind of come away from it, and I'm going to click and drag over all of them, and it selects them all at once. Let me show you that again. Okay, so to grab all these, I'm going to go ahead and put my cursor over here, click and drag down. Okay, so maybe what she meant by click was, when I say click, it's going to be a left click on your mouse, or if you're using your trackpad, you're just going to click on your trackpad. Okay, so that kind of caught me. Okay, so let me show you again. I'm going to click and drag, and it's going to select all of them. Now, if I right click on my mouse or a 2-finger click on my trackpad, I'm going to come here to align horizontally, and I'm going to say center. And then that's starting to look a lot better, right? And then I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to do a right click with my mouse, and I'm going to align vertically middle. And now they are all in one stack. So let me show you. So if I click on them and start moving them out, this could be money, this could be counters, this could be letters. Suddenly they kind of have not an endless supply of little bugs, but something like that. So if I wanted to restack them up again, I can grab them. Well, I could do my undo button. That would be the quickest. But just to show you this tool again, I can right click. Oops, let's grab them again. They got away from me. Right click. Why are you being like that, bugs? Okay, and then we're going to align center, and then we're going to align in the middle. Okay, pretty cool, right? Okay, and there is a slide for that because I know that is one of those tools that will definitely help you out. Now, the first time we did this session, we did have a question about how are we going to use this with Zoom, right? We have this other added layer of Zoom that we kind of have to think about and figure out how we're going to do this. And so I wanted to put some ideas down on a slide. If you think of other ideas of how you can use these slides, pop it in the chat, because we definitely, the more brains, the better, right? We're all kind of figuring this out together. But let me tell you a couple ideas that I had. So if we are on Zoom and this is what your window, you're going to share your screen, and maybe this is what your window looks like here with the students, and maybe you are doing it, you're going to demonstrate for them, how to do it. It could be that you're going to demonstrate it, and then you're going to send it to them in Google Classroom, and they're going to do it independently. So, hey guys, let's go ahead and do this slide. This is how we do it. We click on the money, and then we slide it over. We count it up. We make sure it's right. And then we come down here and we click on the next slide. And that's what you're going to do independently. You're going to click on it in Google Classroom, and you're going to get moving. Okay? So does that kind of make sense? So that would be the push it out in Google Classroom after we've modeled it. The other idea I thought of, I don't know if this is feasible, but it could be we're doing this in Zoom, and the students have a whiteboard at home or a piece of paper, and you ask the students, okay, what should I do next? Or how much does all this add up to? Write it on your whiteboard and hold it up to your screen. So we do have, their screens there, and so you can then say, oh, look at Andrew said 25. Do you guys all agree with Andrew? I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look, right? So that is another way that we can kind of have the students interact or participate while we're doing Zoom and interactive slides. Another way would be we could call on a student and have them unmute themselves, potentially depending on how old they are and how, the more comfortable they get with Zoom and things like that. We could also have them put their answer in chat. And the teacher could see that and say, oh, Alicia said this. What do we get? What do we think about that, right? Any other ideas in chat that you guys came up with on how we can kind of interact?
They did have a couple of questions. They wanted to know how you share a slide on Google Classroom, is I think that's one of the things you just talked about. And then does this, can you link interactive slides to Seesaw? I'm not sure about that one.
Okay, I am shaking my head yes. You can't see me, but you can imagine me hopefully. So I'm going to show you how to push this out in Google Classroom. And then we're going to make sure to have time, and I'm going to show you how you can actually see live what they're doing, which is a huge benefit of Google Classroom. I'll also talk briefly about Seesaw. It is a little bit more complicated with Seesaw, but it is doable with a little bit of work. There's not a one-click button to make it happen, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead, and if we have other ideas, we'll go ahead and move on. Let's move on to multimedia slides. And when I talk about multiple media slides, you know, putting in videos, putting in audio, putting in a picture. So all of those things there. Let's pop back to our presentation that we were doing here, and I'm going to go ahead and come to the plus, and then the little triangle, and I'm going to do a new slide that's blank. And let's do another kind of interactive one. Let's build it. I'm going to start with the background. So remember, we need to think about what do we want, what parts should not move, right? Because we want to save our sanity. So I actually want to start building that. I'm going to do a little scene, a little like yard scene. So I want like a sky color. So maybe that. So if I want to add a color, kind of purplish, right? Let's fix that. So I can go background. I can click here on the color, and I can go ahead and choose a color. So I want kind of a sky color. Okay, so I'm going to start with a color. I'm going to add another layer, and I'm going to say insert, search the web. No more slugs. That's not what we're doing right now. I'm going to search for a yard scene. Okay, because I'm going to build a yard. I'm going to build a yard with some puppies and some kittens, and we are going to find ways to make 10. Okay, that's our goal here. So I'm going to say yard, and I want it to have a transparent background, so I can type transparent or PNG, and I want it to be a clip art. A clip art is, you know, like a little cartoon, like a drawing. Okay, and I like this guy here. So I'm just going to drag them on. And then I'm going to resize it so it kind of fits the whole screen. So I'm just building my little scene here. Okay. So what this needs next is the directions, because we definitely need, we don't want the directions to move. So we're going to build in our directions. So I'm going to come up to the text box. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw kind of the size I want. I might even make it a little bit bigger here. And then I want to go ahead and type in my directions. Okay, not quite what I want. Okay, and I want them to be bigger. So I'm going to highlight, and I'm going to click to make it bigger. And we want it centered. And go ahead and go here. Now, I'm already seeing that I'm not a super fan of words over, I don't know, the trees here, right? I feel that's kind of hard to read. And we do have a fix for that. So, you know, it's okay. But I actually think that if we come up here to the paint bucket or the fill color, and we kind of chose a light color, then suddenly it's a little bit clearer. It's a little bit easier to see, right? It doesn't have to be quite that dark. So this is everything. So there are 10 pets in the yard. There are blank dogs and blank cats. Drag them to make 10 in the yard. So this is everything I don't want to move. Everything I don't want them to accidentally delete, right? So let's remind ourselves how we lock this background. The way we do that is we come up here to File, Download, PNG. Okay, and it's going to download in my left-hand corner down here. And before I move on, let me go ahead and start a new slide, because I don't want to mess with my original right now. I can delete it later, but if for some reason I change my mind and want to fix something, I want to do that. So I want to make this my background. So I'm going to come to background, choose image, save myself some time and just drag it in. And then now all of this is locked. They can't mess with that. Okay, so now what we want to do is put our draggables in. Actually, let's go ahead and put our text box in first. So we're going to come in here, and I'm going to, because they need to type their numbers. And I want it to be center. And then I'm going to go ahead and do Control D. I'm going to save myself a little bit of time. And you know what? I think we need a border on it because they need to see that they're going to be typing here. Okay. I'll make that one red too. Okay, so they're going to type their numbers here. Okay, and then we need our draggables. So we need to go insert. We want an image, search the web, and then let's see. What do we want? We want, what did I say? We wanted, it was dogs and kittens or something like that, right? Okay, so we want a puppy. Let's do a puppy PNG clip art. Let's see what we got. Oh, that one's pretty cute, huh? Let's see, how does that one come up? Okay, so great. This is a great example of sometimes it doesn't always work. So this one, when I put it on I tried to add it, it said it did not work. Now, sometimes some images just do not work. And so that's when you come down here and you say, let's try a different one. And sometimes the ones that don't work are the ones you really want, right? Okay, so we're going to come in here, we're going to add our little puppy, and then we're going to do a cat, I think was the next one. Cat PNG clip art, because we want it to have kind of a, oh, I don't know, this guy looks pretty cute. You know, they always have to be cute, right? Okay, and then we need to do what we need to do, duplicate and then align, right? So we need to do all of that. So if I wanted to come in here and do Control D, I probably should do 10 of them, right? Because we're making 10. So let's say I have 3 there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then remember I take my cursor and I drag over, that selects them all. I do a right click and I align, or I align center, and then I align middle. And then I can drag all of my little guys up here. Okay, so same thing with the dogs. Let's move them down here. So we've got 1. Okay, and I'm going to drag and select them all. And then we want to align because we want a nice cute little stack here. Okay. Okay, so we are good to go. So this is what, so they can type in here, they can drag their animals down here. Maybe we have 2 dogs. Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8. There we go. So we've got 2 dogs and 8 cats. Now, rather than having to, so let me pop back here. Let me go ahead and take all that away. And I want them to practice this several times. I can click on this slide, okay, over in the left-hand corner, and I can do Control D, and I can duplicate this several times so they have several opportunities to practice. Okay, I did see in the chat a little while back, oh, I already said we're going to do Google Classroom in just a second. So I'm going to pause for a second and see if there are any questions.
Can you say again how you copy the background slide? It's just that, I think it's what you just did.
Yes, so I'll do it on this number 1 here. So this is movable, clickable, and that's a problem, right? So what we want to do is come up here to File, Download, and then we want to choose the PNG, and it will download this, and it will download it into our bottom right-hand corner. Now, if you don't see it downloaded in your bottom left-hand corner, it downloads into your download folder. So on your computer, let me show you how, you know, in case, let's go ahead and do here. In case you don't see it down there, let me show you how to find it, yeah? So we're going to choose, I just clicked on background. I'm going to click on choose image. And rather than dragging this time, let's go ahead and browse. Okay, and it's going to browse right here to my downloads. And I see everything I've downloaded recently. I'm going to click on the one I just downloaded and press open. And then it will go ahead and put it as the background, and that locks the background. Okay? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on. So here's the next thing that you might get excited about, you might not, but I want to go ahead and share it with you anyways. I think it's an interesting idea or concept. So if we wanted to have the students say write on a piece of paper or a whiteboard 10 ways to make 10, or write their name or write letters or whatever, and we want to see their, or they do a drawing, we want to see them do that, here's how we can do that, okay? So we can go here to Insert, Image, and then we're going to scroll all the way down to Camera. So if we do Insert, Image, Camera. Now I'm saying the students can do this, but a teacher could too. So if you're building interactive slides, or you're adding to one you already have, and you're like, I really need them to see a picture of this, here's a quick way to get it in your slide, right? So this is good for teacher, good for student also. So let me show you again. We're going to go Insert, Image, Camera, okay? The very first time you do this, it's going to ask you to allow or block your camera right up here, okay? So you only need to press allow the first time. Now, if they press block or you press block, there is a way to fix it. Or if you click off of it and don't allow or block, there is a way to fix that. But let me go ahead and we're going to press allow. Okay. And then, oh, hi guys. Here I am. I'm here. So it automatically pops up your webcam. Okay. So I've asked them to write on a piece of paper or whiteboard all the ways to make 10. So we're going to hold up our piece of paper, and then we're going to click the yellow camera, the circle, and then it's going to take, we can see the preview here, and then I can click Insert. And then suddenly I do have a picture that I can post on my slide. So whether it is you as the teacher saying, this is what I, get this book out, have this book out when we're in Zoom, here's a picture of it, quick way to get a picture into your slides, or if you want them to show you the work that they did on paper pencil, okay? Let me show you that again. So if we go Insert, Image, Camera, it's not going to ask me to allow or deny this time because I said that was one time. So maybe this time I've asked them to show me a book that they're reading. So we're going to say, take the picture. I want to this time click on the picture I want, and then press Insert. Okay, so suddenly I now have that picture. Now here's my tip for this. Let me pop back over to our slides here. Here's a tip. Let's see here. Here we go. So you might consider having a location, having a spot for them to put that picture. And if you're going to have your students do this, you may want to have some reminders of the steps. So I have a frame here they're going to put the picture in, and here are the reminders for the step. Insert, Image, we click Camera, and then we click this guy. Here's another one with a little bit less directions, but it's still a reminder of what they need to do. So if I come in here again, Insert, Image, Camera, maybe this is just a picture of me. Great picture, right? And then I can go ahead and slide that over to my frame, and then my teacher knows that I did what I was supposed to do. So you might consider having a frame. Now, does it have to be a fancy frame like this? No, it can just be a little box they put it in, but I suggest putting in those directions if you're gonna have them kind of start to do this. Okay, any questions about that? You might have one question about how I did my snips, right? And let's go ahead and go over this. This is another big one that if you kind of only take one thing away from today, well, it will not hurt my soul if you only take one thing away today. But this is something you can use all the time, okay? So if we pop back up here to our snipping tool, if you already use the snipping tool, will you pop in the chat and let us know if you already use it? If you don't, here's what it is, and here's how you get it. It is free. It's already on your computer. It's already on your computer. So I can't actually show you right now how to get it, but I have pictures here. So in the bottom left-hand corner, if you click your little magnifying glass and then you type in snipping tool, this will pop up. If you right-click on it, you can say pin to taskbar. That will put it down here. I always have my snipping tool at the bottom. It's one of those things I have to have accessible to me because I use it so much. And so that's how you can get it on your taskbar. Here's what we can do with it. I can have a passage here, and if I just want a part of the passage, I can snip that. This is from iReady, or from Ready, sorry, and I just wanted these cute little guys here, so I snipped out that picture. Rather than recreating this graph, I just snipped it. I'm not going to spend 20 minutes recreating it. I just snipped it. This one is also from Ready, and I went ahead and snipped that too. The directions for the camera, I snipped also. So let me show you how I did that. Let me show you just how to make a regular snip first. So I'm going to click on my snipping tool. And it actually got put on a different screen, so let me drag it over. And I'm going to say, do I have a delay? No. I'm going to say new. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw around whatever I want to snip. Most of the time, we want to right-click and copy and paste it in. About 80% of the time, you're not going to save it. You can, but that wastes time. We don't want to waste our time. We want to right-click and copy, and then on a slide, I can right-click and paste, and then suddenly I have that snip. If you're needing to send an email to someone, to a parent, to me as the tech coach, this is what I'm seeing, what do I click on? Snip it, put it in an email, okay? And all you have to do is right-click and copy. So any questions about the snipping tool?
I don't think I see any about the snipping tool. Are you going to show us how to put the slides into Google Classroom? We're going to do that in a little bit, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. How are we doing on time? Okay, we're doing okay on time. That is a must-show feature that we will absolutely get to. And then I'll kind of show you a little bit of the backside so you can have a little bit of insight on what we're doing there. Okay, so snipping tool is really cool. And then here's the other thing. Let me show you one more thing about snipping tool. I'm going to give you the advanced version. Are you ready? So you can change the mode too. So if you want to do a free-form snip, so it's not a perfect rectangle, it's not a square, and you want to do a free-form, you can. Sometimes I put it on delay. And when I put it on delay, it's because I want to snip some directions for kids, okay? So if I put it on a delay, that will delay the start of the snip, which will allow me to get into the menu. So I can do new, and I can say insert image, camera, okay, and it's gonna let me, oh, now I know I can take my snip. So now I can actually take a snip of that because it goes away if you don't put it on a delay. So that's just for those of you who are like really into snipping, that might be something you did not know. Okay, so moving on. We locked our background, we inserted images, we were able to take a picture from our webcam fairly easy. Let me go ahead and share with you some picture books that were shared with me. And so if we're thinking about, I want to add in a YouTube video or a video and I want to match it with my current Ready curriculum, here are some examples of videos that match some of the concepts. And we actually won't play it, but I want to share with you the list. And then here is a mega list of videos with grade level content here, all the way from K, I think, to 6th grade. So that are some resources for you if that's a direction you want to go. What would that look like? So here, let me show you an example of how we could potentially use a read aloud and draggable slides. So here is Polar Bear, what do you do? They inserted the YouTube video here, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. And then the next slide, oh, it looks like I did not clear it off from the last time I used it. Okay, everybody look away, pretend you didn't see that, right? So here they just created, inserted a table, which we did at the very beginning, right? And then we have our images off to the side, and then they are to drag the items based on when they showed up in the book, okay? So kind of a simple thing, but a way that we can use a read aloud in an interactive slide sort of way. So let me show you how we can insert a video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get a blank here. And we'll use Puppies in the Snow. Oh, how cute. Okay. So I have found my YouTube video I want. We always want to take the address at the top. We don't want to take down here where it says share because that's a shortened address and our filter hates that. We want it to work. So we're going to come up here and we're going to copy the address. And then we are going to come into insert because we're inserting again, video. Now you can insert YouTube videos and you can insert videos from your drive. In this case, it's a YouTube video. So I'm going to paste that link in. I'm going to click on, yes, that's the video I want, and then click select. And then I have my video here. There are some controls over here that can help you, like if you only want them to watch the first minute of the video, you can control when the video ends. If you only want them to watch the middle section of the video, you can actually make those changes here. Or if you want them to watch the whole video, it's A-OK. Now here's what needs to happen with videos. With YouTube videos is they need to be whitelisted. So Sherry Johnston is who you would send the address to, and she would whitelist it. You can send her a whole stack of them, and then she will whitelist them. Now, if it is a link that you get from curriculum instruction, I am being told that those are already going to be whitelisted for you. So if it is a link that you get from them on a resource that they have provided, it's going to be whitelisted. Now, it only needs to be whitelisted once. So I got a question yesterday. If someone else in my grade level whitelists that video, do I have to do it too? No, it only needs to be done once. Okay? So that is how we can go ahead and insert a YouTube video. Okay, let's see. So that's how we can do that. Let's talk about customizing already created slides. So curriculum instruction has already they've put together many resources for you. Ready has resources already made. Benchmark has resources already made. And so let's talk about, you may not be in a place where you want to create things from scratch like we just did. You may be in a place where you're like, I want to take resources we already have and modify them. And let's see how we can do that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let me go ahead and get a new slide for us. And then what we want to do is we're going to pop to our drive. So if you are playing along with us, I'm here in this presentation. I'm going to go to my other tab. My drive is already open. And I'm going to click here. And what I want to search for is the CUSD curriculum guide folder. Okay, and that is accessible by all the staff in the district, all the teachers in the district. And so how did I do that? I can go here to shared with me and just kind of like scroll forever. I don't like that. I want to save myself some time. To search for this folder, we can come in here and we can do CUSD curriculum guide, and it will pop up. If you want to put it in your starred, if you want to be able to get to it really, really quickly, we can right click on the folder and then we can say add to starred. And so those are like your favorites, right? Your most important things that you just go to often. So if I add it to my star, I can pop down here and then it will be there waiting for me. Okay. So I'm going to click on English language arts, if I can actually speak English right now, right? And then here's all of our folders. And if you have been in the district a little while, this will look familiar to you. I'm going to go to grade 3. I'm going to go to benchmark resources. And then I want to, we're just going to start with Unit 1. Right at the very beginning. So if you are in a different grade level, that's okay. You're still going to see this same, right here, I'm circling it right here. You're still going to see this same file. It's called Student Companion Slides. So it doesn't matter what grade level you're in, they still have this file in there for you, okay? So if I click on this, all of these items are linked. And so they've kind of collated these resources together for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Unit 1, Week 1. and it's going to ask us to make a copy. If I click make a copy, that means it's now mine. So if I change it, do things, I don't need to worry that I'm messing it up for someone else. It is mine, and I can do whatever I want with it now. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I want to make a copy. And once I make a copy, I can now go ahead and modify it. I can change it up. I can add things. I can take things away, make interactive slides. So these are student activities, Unit 1, Week 1. This one is all about voting. And if I come down here to this slide here, and it looks like, there we go. So this is election day. So if I think my students might need some background information, right? I might want to add to this. And so this is a way that we can modify it. So I'm going to go ahead and click up here, and I want to add a new slide. Okay, and I want to provide background information. I think I'm going to provide a video, a spot for them to kind of reflect on that video, and then I'm going to provide a chance for them to practice voting. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do to kind of help build background knowledge before we start this lesson, because my students in particular need it. So the other thing I want to show you is here, let me go back to our drive. In the grade levels, what curriculum has started to do is pull together, and I'm going to click right here on this, a list of videos that support the benchmark units, supplemental videos. Now, some of these videos are for the teacher only to build background knowledge for themselves. Some of them are for students to build background knowledge. So you definitely want to take a look at them. And see, and I found one here I like, why voting is important, election day voting for kids. That's the video I want to go ahead and share. So I'll click here. There we go. That'll get called up. And a reminder, I'm going to go ahead and let's pause that before we get bombarded with a video. So here we go. I'm going to click and grab the address. Now, because this is from curriculum instruction, this will be whitelisted for you, so you don't need to worry about that step. So I grab the address, I'm going to insert video. It's YouTube, so I can just paste it right in here. Click on it and press select. Okay, so we are going to have them, we're going to come in here and we're going to say, watch the video and then answer the question. Okay. And then let's fill it in. How about that? And then we're going to have them, we're going to answer, we're going to ask him the question down here. Okay, and I want to draw a focus on, this is a box here, and then we're going to say here. Here. Okay, so we're going to watch the video, we are going to type our answer here, and I want to give them an opportunity to practice voting before and kind of get a feel for that. So what I can do, if you already have something made up, or you can make it, or not. Let me show you something I made up really quickly. Let me grab it for us. Actually, I'll just slide it over. Okay, so we did a which one is your favorite pet Google form. Okay, so I want them to get a little practice voting. So I'm going to grab this, and then I am going to, first I'm going to take a snip of it, because I like it when they click on pictures. So we're going to do our snipping tool. And then I'm going to come around here and I'm going to snip it. And like I said, most of the time we right click and copy to save ourselves time, and then right click and paste in. Okay. Now I want to show you how to create a link. Now you may already know. If you don't know, this is the process. So if I wanted words to link to something, I can do it with words. I can do it with a picture. I'm going to show you both ways. Now, it may link to another website. It may link to another slide in this presentation. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and link to this guy. So let me grab this address real quick. So to make a link I'm going to first link this picture. I'm going to click the picture. I'm going to go insert link, and then I'm going to paste that link right in and press apply. So now if a student were to click on the picture, it would take them directly where I want them to go. Okay, so let's do words now. So let's say I don't, I want to link some words. So we're going to come in here and we're going to say, click here to vote. We're going to make this nice and big. Change the font, center it. I don't know, let's make it an orange. Okay, so here's how we do that. I can go ahead and highlight the words, come back to insert, link, and we're going to paste it in and press apply. Now it usually will default to this blue color. I like black. I don't know why. I think I've been conditioned to like my text black, but you can change that. So if they click here, it will also take them there. So that's how you can add a link on a picture, on a shape, and how we can add a link on words. Okay, so I'm going to pause and see if we have any questions. I know you're probably beyond overwhelmed right now, but I promise it's okay. Remember, we're finding one place to start, one place we're comfortable, okay?
So one of the questions, and maybe I could add something, Karina, to find those folders that Karina just showed you for curriculum instruction. Remember, if you might remember last year, I started sending something out, our CNI did, that said Friday update. And if you go to, so you'll be able to go to directly to on the curriculum instruction webpage, there's a folder called Online Learning Resources. So if you click on that, you'll see all the things that it will take you to the curriculum guides. It will take you to the things CNI has created for you. So you'll get that. So you have that already, and I usually send it if there's anything new on Friday. So that's an easy way to locate them. And then there you go. So that's where you'll find English language arts. We've got math and science there. Where it said technology resources, that's where you're going to find all the videos, the recordings from this week's training. So you can see it again, because I'm sitting here going, boy, I'm so glad we're recording this, because I need to go back and look at how do I do exactly what it is that Karina was showing us. The other question, Karina, is for our students that can't read yet, is there a way for us to record the directions or something that then we can send to the students and they can listen to us giving them directions?
Yes, I am shaking my head right now. Absolutely, yes. We are doing that next. That is what we're doing next. So
you and I practice so well.
I know, right? It's okay. And and I am leaning a little bit on the fact that this is recorded. If we were doing this in person, guys, first of all, I'm sitting at my kitchen table talking to myself, which is a little weird, right? If we were doing this in person, obviously it would be slowed down a little bit more. I would be able to walk around and point to your screen and help you out and all of that. But I am leaning on the fact that this is recorded, and I'm kind of leaning on let's give them as much as we can, because some people are going to be ready for it, some people are not, but they're going to take what they need. So anyways, okay, so we've seen how to customize like benchmark slides, things like that. What if we had a worksheet or something that we want to customize? So I am going to come in here to, we're going to come back over here. I'm going to go back to, let's go back to my drive. I'm going to start a new slideshow. So I'm back in my drive. I'm going to say new slides. And because this is a worksheet, I want it to look like a worksheet. This does not look like a worksheet. The way we change the look of it is we come up to File, Page Setup. So File, Page Setup, and then I can change it to Custom, and then we all know that what is it, 8.5 by 11 is the perfect paper size. So I just click on custom, change it to 8.5 by 11 and press apply. And now it looks like a paper, which is what we wanted to, because we're going to go ahead and modify a worksheet, or, you know, jazz it up, should we say. But let's go ahead and, so we've done that. I have off of Benchmark a worksheet that I grabbed. So let me go ahead and see if I can find it here. See, downloads. It eluded me yesterday, but I know you're here. Here we go. Okay, so when I pulled it off of Benchmark, let me slide this over, it came up as a PDF. So the complication is there are ways we can kind of get this into our slides. There are more complicated ways, and here's the easy way. You ready? I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger. I'm going to reduce it down. So for any PDF, just go ahead and click on it, call it up, okay? And then I want this page here. So I'm going to go to my handy dandy snipping tool. Remember the little miracle button that helps us out? And I'm going to do new, and then I'm just going to snip it. Okay, so I have a worksheet that's a PDF. I want to get it onto a slide. I'm going to snip it. Here's where we have one change. Normally we come in here and we do a right click and a copy. This time though, we want to save it. Okay, we want to save it. So I want to say this is my worksheet. This is grade 2, unit 1. And it's saving to my desktop. I want to check where it's saved so I don't lose it, because I don't know if you've ever downloaded something and then you're like, where'd it go? I want to check and make sure I have that. So I want it to be my background. So remember our steps. It needs to be my background. It needs to be unmovable. So I'm going to go background, choose image, and I've got to upload it this time. Let's see. And I don't want downloads. It did it in my desktop. And it was worksheet 2, unit 1, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and press open. And now I have my worksheet, and it's not movable. Okay, it doesn't move, which is what we want. Let's go ahead and add in some directions. Now remember, all of this gray area, we can add items, we can add in directions for students, and it's a-okay. They'll be able to see it. So I just said place the commas in the right spot. We'll make that just a little bit bigger. Okay, so now we need to make draggable commas, right? So that is simply just a text box. I'm going to do a comma, way too small, right? I'm going to highlight it, and then I'm going to click right here in the center and just, let's make it even bigger. Why not? I like to color it so it'll stand out, especially as a teacher. And so this is a font, so we come up here to our A. It just makes it easier on us. And then I want it to be centered. Okay, can make that a little bit smaller. Okay, and then remember we want to duplicate it. So if I click on it, I can do the Control D and duplicate a bunch of them, and then do my aligning really quick. So I can get a nice cute little stack of them. And I can move my stack right there, okay? So now they have commas that they can come down and drop in, okay? Okay, now down here is a text box. So I'm gonna add in my text box, and I'm just gonna say type here, but I really don't like the way that looks because it looks a little funky. So I'm just gonna fill it in with my paint can. Let's just do a nice like little color like that, okay? So that's kind of how we can modify a worksheet, but the question was audio instructions, right? So I was an RSP teacher for millions of years, not millions of years, I'm exaggerating, obviously, for about 15 years. And you know, some students need directions, some students are, you know, not quite reading, that's okay. Here's the easiest way I have found to do this. We may find an easier way, but this is, after careful research, this is the easiest way I've been able to find to quickly get audio in there. So in order to get audio into your slide, you have to have the audio in Drive first. Well, that's not always the easiest because it has to be a certain file type. Here's what I found: online-voice-recorder.com. online-voice-recorder.com. And there is a slide in our handouts for this. So all I have to do is, as a teacher, I click in here and then I just start talking, right? Hey, boys and girls, I want you to take a look at this worksheet. Remember when we talked about commas and how we put commas after the greetings in letters? I want you to go ahead and do that on this worksheet and have a great day. Okay, so it's going to process it. It's going to allow me to preview it once it's processed. It's taking a little bit of extra time today because it knows we have an audience, right? We'll let that process. And then what's going to happen is we're going to insert it here. So it might be a greeting. It might be a reminder. It might be, I'm going to literally read this for you. And I might have a little audio button next to each problem, you know, if that's, you know, the situation you're in. I'm just like the students. I'm impatient. Let's reload it.
So, Karina, we have to add this app. We don't already have it, correct?
Okay, it is a website. So yes, I should have clarified that.
Okay.
So it is online voice recorder with hyphens in between. And then if we look at our handouts, I do have the link on there too.
Perfect.
So
thank you.
No problem. I tried to have everything ready for you guys, right? So here we go, to add audio. These are the steps to add it, but first we have to record it. So that's the step we're in. And the last couple days, it's actually worked right away, but let me try one more time. I think it's just being, okay, let's try it again. Okay, please place the commas where they belong. Remember today when we talked about placing the commas after a greeting, that's what I want you to do. Good luck. Okay, see, it did it immediately now, so I can preview it. Okay, please place the commas. Okay, sounds great, right? The next step in order to get it in your Drive is save. It's going to save it down in your bottom left-hand corner or in your downloads folder, okay? So if you don't see it in your bottom left-hand corner, that's where it is. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that, and then let's pop back to where we want to put it. And remember, we want to insert it, so we're going to go back to Insert, Audio. Oops, you know what? I forgot a step. Oh, goodness, guys. Here's the step I forgot. So we need to put it in our Drive first. Okay, so we downloaded it. I'm going to do New File Upload. Okay, so we recorded it. We press Save. It downloaded to our computer. And now I need to put it in Drive. So it's in my download folder. I click on it. I press Open. And then it's going to go ahead and download in my Drive. So like I said, not a super quick way, but the thing is they started adding audio to slides just in the last year. So things could change. They could make this a little easier, but this is the easiest I found. Last step before we insert it on our slide is we need to make it shareable. If you don't do this step, the kids are going to click on it and it's going to say you don't have access. Okay, so we need to change the share settings. So if I click on it and I right click, and I press share, and then I want to come down here too. It says change link to Clovis. We don't just want Clovis. We want to actually change it to anyone with the link can view. And in this case, it's listen. Anyone with a link can listen. And then we'll press done. So now we've changed our share settings. Let me show you one more time. We right click, we press share, and then we come down here and then we change it to anyone with a link can view. Okay, now the step I was trying to jump to, so I go insert audio. It's going to come up with our most recent. Here we go. And then it's going to pop in this little baby icon here. I could put it next to problems. I like to make it a little bit bigger. I don't know why, I just do. And if I really wanted to even come in and recolor it, I can click on the right-hand side, and I like to recolor it for this color. I don't know, big and bold. And then students can click on that. And then there we go. So this could be a birthday greeting, this could be whatever. So any questions about that, that adding the audio in? Pretty cool? I know a lot of steps, but if we do have students that need accommodations or students not reading yet, or, you know, just to add a little bit of pizzazz, whatever, we can do that, okay? So I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely something I could have used years back, right? Okay, so we've taken a worksheet off of Benchmark. We've added commas, think draggables. We've added a text box. We've added audio. We could also do this too. If we have time, I'll circle back around and show you how to do this. But we could, if we were doing it, let's see, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Oh, you know, I never showed you that slide. Goodness gracious. Okay, I'll circle back around. Let's say I have a draggable one. Let's see. I must have, I'm just looking for things. You know how that goes. Okay, let's pop here. Let's say I want to show, this is a draggable, this is a sort, and I want to show them. I could make a little video, a little screencast video here, and I can preview that for them and show them how to click and drag. Let me do the first couple for you. They can watch that video, and then they can have that support. So if we'll circle back around if we have time, and I can show you how to do that, but that is one other thing that we can do. I failed to show you some additional examples when we were doing the draggables. So let me go ahead and pop that over here, and let me just show you a couple additional examples of to kind of get your mind going. So remember when we did our draggable, our A, E, I, O, U, or short vowels, whatever. So this is just to insert a table, and it's just got one row. And here we have our stack of items. And so it could be, obviously, you know, we want to think about whether or not we want to do Christmas, but it could be flowers. It could be we're, you know, doing a pattern of letters, whatever. But this is another way to do that. So if we wanted to have something like this, all of this is locked down for the kids, except for the counters. And then they would drag them over. Right, so this is just also another table with a stack of manipulatives, and then they would come in here and they'd count it up, and then they would put their answer down in the box. So what is that, 7? Another way that we could do draggables is by, obviously this is locked down, by labeling parts. This is not as much of a draggable, but I want to show you this example because I really like how they inserted, through their snipping tool, example of what you need to do, kids, right? Because they're going to forget, they're going to look up here and go, where's that button again? I can't find it. And so they click here, I look and say, what do I need? I need my paint bucket, and then I need this third one, and then I can fill it in, okay? So I like that as an example. Here is an example, if we had a question, is another draggable. We have a question of the day. So student number 11 is going to put their little token wherever they are. Now, this is a little bit more advanced in the fact that we're going to have all the students on one slide together, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But you may not do this one right out of the gate because they would all be on their slide. So what might happen is number 11 may come in here and delete number 1's. Which, right, utter chaos would break loose after that. But I just wanted to show you some examples. Here's examples of, I think you've already seen this, of them making the money. This is a sort, a card sort. So this is the number. This is a shape representation of the number. And when we get it all done, it would look like this. This would be the master there. Okay. Another way that we can do things is we can just come in here and practice. So this is obviously practicing, letter recognition, but also practicing some computer skills. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to practice my backspace and my clicking, and I am going to go ahead and get rid of all of those. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's pop back over here and let me pause because I talk a million miles a minute, right? Let me pause and let's see where our questions are, because we are one step away from showing you how to use this in Google Classroom. Any questions?
They just want to know, you've made so many slides already. Can we just copy yours?
Yes. Oh, yes, yes. If you ever have a presentation with me and the presentation is, and I'm holding up my hand like this much, like a teeny bit, I give you massive amounts more, because I'm like, okay, someone might need this resource and someone might need that resource. Take it, borrow it, update it, use it, okay? So let me just clean up a little bit up here. Let's clean up our area. Okay, so we are moving on to, okay, so I had a question our very first time we did this is, do you have any tips on how to help kids drag and drop, right? And I had to think about this. Well, what are my tips for that? Well, it is hard. We're just going to say that right off the bat. It is hard. But these are the tips hopefully will help, okay? So obviously practice, practice, practice. If you have another tip, drop it in the chat, because I know there are some teachers out there that have thought of some amazing things. Drop it in the chat. Here's my tip. Make the items that are draggable big. So I like this cute little star. It's so cute. But if I'm trying to drag it over here, first of all, I have to get my mouse there. And if I don't quite get it right on it and I drag, I might accidentally do something. Okay, so I say make it big. And here's an example of one that is big. So this is a draggable. I want to drag it onto the student. So if I drag it onto the student, I can still, number one, see what's underneath it, which as a kid, I would like that because I don't like things being covered up. But look at the surface area. So I can click anywhere in here and drag. I think that's huge. Let me show you something else that sometimes we do. If I come to shapes, I have used this one a lot, this circle. And let me show you why it's not so great and show you an alternative. So a lot of times I might come in here and I might use this tool and I might say, I need you to put the circle around the letter G, whatever, okay? And I've used it a lot. So I'm going to slide it over here and the kids are going to have to slide over here. The problem with this is the center isn't clickable. The only part that I can click and drag on is this little teeny tiny sliver. And is that going to really work for our kids or for all of our kids? Some of our kids? I don't like this. Let me give you an alternative. So if we come in here and go to shapes and go circle, and let's make ourselves a circle or oval or whatever. And you're like, Karina, I don't like that. That doesn't look the same. I know, let's fix it. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to do the paint can. I will make it transparent. Okay, so already looking better, right? But I want the outline, the line, the border weight to be thicker. Let's do a 12. And then let's change that to a red. So these are nearly identical now, right? Okay, but here's the difference. Look, I can click in the center and I could drag. So the clickable area is a lot bigger than this. So if we're thinking about when we're creating lines and boxes and things like that, think about the clickable area. How do I make something transparent? You might ask. I don't know. You might ask that. So if I come up here to my paint bucket, so this might normally be like this. And then if I had to cover that up, I don't know, that would bother me as a student. I want to see what's underneath, and even as a teacher. So how do I make it translucent or a little transparent? I can click back on the bucket. I can click custom. And then right down here is where we handle the transparency. So if I go all the way, it's going to be barely visible. I usually kind of go right in the center. And I can click OK, and then suddenly this is a transparent object. I've selected it. My teacher can see I want that, but I can still see what's underneath. So let me show you that again. Click on the item, click Paint Bucket, Custom, and then change your transparency there. Okay? Moving on. Other tools, put the directions on the slides. We've talked about that. The other thing is to maybe make a screencast with Loom or Screencastify to show your students what to do. And then place a placeholder for the camera. So when we did that webcam, we had that frame, we plopped it in. And so that might be good. As far as my tips with a trackpad and mouse, oh goodness, with little guys, I know it's so hard. So here's the terminology I created out of the blue to try to help them understand what they're clicking on, because you know, they struggle with it, right? So I usually say, put both your fingers up, your index fingers up. And then also, my left finger has a name. Did you know your left index finger has a name? And then I call it my pressy finger. Okay, so the pressy finger's job is to press down on the trackpad and not move. And then I say, does it move? No, it doesn't move. So if we look at the picture of the guy here, his left finger is not moving. Its only job is to press down and hold. So that's the job of the pressy finger. The job of the right index finger is called the mover finger, and its job is to move on the trackpad. And if we can see his fingers moving that circle, so that's the job. So I give the fingers a name. I show them this little clip, and you can grab this from me and borrow it and put it in your own slides. I've used it a million times to try to teach. If you're working with a trackpad, you can't, your pressy finger cannot move. Otherwise, it's going to create some problems, right? The other way that we can talk to kids is if we had a mouse, we can put a sticker on the left click. Because a lot of times I'll say, do a left click, and then you know what they're doing, they're clicking on the right button, or they're clicking the wheel, or they're just staring at you, right? So rather than saying do a left click, we can say click the star, press the star, hold the star down, right? So you might consider putting even little stickers on your mice. Any ideas in the chat? Let's see here. On a trackpad, I taught my kids to use one hand or one finger to click on their left hand and then use their right hand finger to slide. Nice. It really helped on the computer card Chromebooks. Nice. Yeah, you have to have some sort of terminology. I find, especially working with little guys, to kind of help them through. But those are my tips to help. If you have additional tips, pop them in there. But let's see, where are we at? We're at 9:57. We've got about 30 minutes. And I have promised you some things that I want to make sure to get to. And here we go. This is it. This is not it, but this is what you guys have been asking for. So let's do it. To share slides in Google Classroom. Now, this is just a picture. I want to show you in real time what that will look like, okay? So I'm going to pop up here to, I'm going to open my classroom. So remember, I come over here to the waffle classroom. So I'm going to show you how to send this out to kids in classroom, okay? There also were sessions this week on Google Classroom alone, and those videos will be made available to you. So if this is overwhelming to you, it's okay. Those videos are available to you, and so I just want you to know that, okay? So here's my classroom. I'm gonna go to classwork, and then I wanna do create. So everything kind of happens out of this create button, and I want it to be an assignment, okay? I'm gonna title it, let's see, what do I wanna send off? Let's send off these extra samples. This is not a great title, but this is kind of get us going. Samples, and then we'll just pretend this says, counting to 10 or something, okay? I could put in additional instructions here. One tip I give in my Google Classroom presentation is sometimes you might want to add emojis in. So when I'm working with little guys and I say, everybody click on the extra examples on the word extra, it starts with an E, I usually get some of them just staring at me, or they're clicking on the word that starts with a C. So sometimes I'll even pop in some emojis, especially for little guys. So emojipedia.org is one place I go for emojis. There's a bunch of places that you can go. I'm gonna grab a heart. So what I find sometimes working with young guys is if I say, click on the heart, I have more success, right? You could also organize this by, you know, every time we do math, it's this emoji. Every time we have a reading activity, it's this emoji. So then they start to correlate, you know, those items with those picture emojis, okay? Just a tip. I won't go on because I could go on. You know me, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to add. And then I want to add from Google Drive. Remember, we made all of this in our Google Drive. So that's where I want to pull from. And then the cool thing is it always pops up with my most recent. So if I just was working on it, I don't have to search. I know it's here. I click on it, I press insert. Okay, so I do add from Google Drive and then insert. Now, this is the biggest thing that is going to cause you a potential headache, a momentary headache, and has caused me a momentary headache when I don't choose the right one here. Okay, and I still do it even to this day. Okay, and it's fixable. If I leave it as students can view the file, what's going to happen is it's going to come up and it's going to just allow them to look at it. They cannot click on anything. Think of a PDF. It's like pushing out a PDF to them. That's usually not what we want. Okay, if I click on the center one, what that means is everyone can edit on the same slide. So when we think of that question here about do you have a brother or sister? Where'd it go? If I was just pushing this out, then we would want everybody on the same slide together. So that would be an example. We would have everybody in the same file. Most of the time we don't do that one, but that would be a reason why we would. 99% of the time we're going to choose make a copy for each student. Okay? So when I do that, that means every individual kid gets their own copy and they can work independently on it. Okay, so I'm going to push that out. I most likely would choose a due date, you know, especially if we have parents helping, you know, to kind of organize our kiddos. And we'll just do that for now. And then I'm going to show you, let me go ahead and call up. Hopefully you're hanging in there with me. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the kid side. And then I'm going to show you how you can monitor them since we're really interested in Google Classroom, okay? Let me go ahead and pop in on a student account here. Let me get there really quickly. Okay, so now I am a student. I'm in my student account here. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to see, oh, my teacher in Zoom said I need to click on the heart, right? So I'm going to click on the heart. And here's my directions. So it has not loaded yet. So sometimes if this happens, you just need to give it a moment. Oh, see, just give it a moment. And then this is the work I need to click on. Okay, so when I click on this work as a student, it's going to take me right here. Okay, and so let me move this aside. And as a teacher, here's one of the coolest things with Google Classroom. So these are all my students in my class. When I can click in right now and see them working. Okay, so this is a huge selling point of Google Classroom. If they were doing this independently and then I need to monitor them, yes, I can see the finished product, but I can click on a student. So I'm in teacher view right now and I can see the student working. So give that a moment. So if they were typing, I can see what they're typing. I could make comments to them. Here we go. So you see, I'm in this student right now watching them work. I can bump over to the next student by going to the arrow button, and I can see that my other student, Melissa, hasn't even started. And so I might be concerned if this were, you know, sentences they were writing or spelling words and they haven't even started, or Melissa is in here. Let me go back to Karina's file. Let's mess up Karina's. I know that Karina's in here and all she's doing is playing around. I can see it. So maybe she's, you know, doing all sorts of crazy things. I know in real time. So let me show you that again. So when let's pop back here. So I'm going to click on the assignment I gave them, and then I can click on any of my students and see in real time what they're doing. So I think that's pretty cool. Hopefully that's pretty cool for you also. But that's how we send it out in Google Classroom. And like I said, the videos on Google Classroom will help you, but that's just a very, very brief kind of how-to. Okay, so we are at 10:05. Any questions? Let me pause there and see if we have any questions. I'm sure we do, but any questions? Let's see. Okay. I had a student accidentally delete. So let's see here. So if I come in here and I delete it. So it goes away. Okay, so the question in the chat was, I had a student accidentally delete their copy. And so what can we do? So when I press the X, it deleted it, okay? I can come back in here and click make a copy, and it will give me another copy of it. So that's how we can fix that. It'll pop up in just a second. Okay, very nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and minimize that. I failed to mention one thing that I think is going to be important as we move forward. And let me come back over here to my iReady dashboard. Okay, so I am in my iReady dashboard, and I want to grab already made slides and things out of there, okay? And I want to show you, there's one thing that we need to do if you do that. So I'm going to go to my teacher toolbox. And I'm just going to go ahead and default it to math. We'll leave it as kindergarten. And then there's already created slides that you can pull off of. These are PDFs. And remember, with PDFs, if we want to grab them and put them on a slide, we use our snipping tool. Okay. But let's go ahead and call up this slide here. And I'm going to say open. So I'm in iReady, or I'm in Ready. I'm in the toolbox, and I'm under Ready for Instruction, all the resources that are there. So it's going to save in the bottom left-hand corner, or also save in my downloads, right? So what I need to show you is, how do we take a PowerPoint, let me click on it, and make it into slides. Now, you may already know, you may not. It's an easy process. But if you are wanting to push this out easily in Google Classroom, we need to put in slides, put it into slides, okay? Let me show you how to do that. So this is in PowerPoint. We don't want it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my drive, and there is a slide in our handouts that's going to show you these steps. We need to come up to the setting wheel and then do settings. And you only have to do this once. So if we're in Drive, we do setting wheel, setting, and then once we click on this box here, it will automatically convert every PowerPoint into slides for you when you upload them into your Drive. It will automatically convert every Word document into a Google Doc, so you can edit it when you upload it. You only have to click this button once, and then now it will automatically make that conversion for you. So let me show you how we do that. So we've got the setting correct. We do new, file upload. And let's see. I think it might have put it on my desktop. Oh wait, what am I looking for? Goodness gracious, guys, right? Let me pop back over here. Let's see. Let's pop back over here to the PowerPoint. Let's do file, let's do save, enable saving. Okay, so the step that I missed, because that thing happens, is that you're going to have to enable saving or allow it to save. And the way I did that is I just came in here and said I wanted to save, and then it said, whoa, wait a second, you need to enable saving. I'm like, oh yeah, let me do that. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and just save it to my computer. And let's put it in this PC. Okay, and it's going to save it. I want to put it in my downloads because I can easily look for it there and press save. Okay, so there's our steps. So when we were on Ready, we clicked on it, it called up a PowerPoint. We want that to be a slide, right? Because we want to modify it. We can teach off of that PowerPoint, so you don't have to do that step. But if you want to modify it, add things to it, make it interactive, then we want to update it. So we're going to now go New, File Upload. It was in my downloads. There it is, nice and easy to find. And it's going to go ahead and do the conversion. How did you get the iReady slides to your PowerPoint? How did I get them? Let me show you that one more time. It's almost done. Let me go ahead and come here to, there we go, here it is. So I'm gonna call that up. So it was a PowerPoint presentation, now it's a slide. And all of those tools we just used now works for this. And it's gonna be easy to push out into Google Classroom if you want them to come in here and do some interactive things with it. So let me show you one more time where I got that. Let's go ahead and close that out. Here we go. So in our iReady, now you may be trying to get into iReady right now, and you may be getting an error message. It may say that they are loading rosters and you cannot get in. That has been the case the last couple days. If that is still the case today, don't panic. That will change. As soon as the rosters get loaded, they will re-allow access to teachers to get into Ready and get all of these resources.
Karina, if I could add to that, if your school has, just as she said, some of our schools have their teachers as TBAs right now. And so if you don't have a name connected to a roster, then you can't get into Benchmark and you can't get into iReady or Ready until you have a roster of kids with your name on it. So some schools are still putting TBAs because they're figuring out who's teaching what, or they don't want parents to have the class list yet.
Yeah, yes. The great secret of the year, right? Okay, Diana Jansen, do that again. Did I do it again for you, or do we need to do whatever I just did again? Go ahead and put that in the chat for me. Okay, so I am in here in iReady. There are a couple ways to get to where I was. This is how I get there. There may be a better way to get there. I go to the teacher toolbox here in iReady, and then I just toggle between reading and math, and then we can toggle our grade level here. So maybe we'll do second grade this time. And then here's all of our units, and here are all the resources. I usually go right here under Ready Instruction Book, but if you click here, there are even more worksheets. I mean, just a plethora, right, of resources that you can pull from. But I usually will come right into this one and pull from the practice. Okay, does that kind of make sense? Okay, good, I got it. Okay, let's see here. We're moving along. We've got about 15 minutes left, and there's a few other things. So if you just take a deep breath, remember I said you're going to find one place to start and it's going to be okay. I also said that I'm going to give you too many resources. That's okay too. But let me go ahead and go over, let me show you one other cool thing, and then we're going to go over resources. At least I think it's cool. I don't know what you're going to feel about it, but let's see. So let's come down here. And I'm going to click on this money one. So we're going to have them make money. And now I want them to write about or talk about what they did, or it's a picture or their thinking or whatever. Now, here's one way that we can do that. So I can come in here and I can go to Tools, Voice Type. Tools, Voice Type. This allows speech to text. So this allows typing of everything I say. So if we have ones that are like still struggling to figure out where the keys are on the keyboard, this is one way that they can still interact and give you their thinking in a relatively easy way. I say relatively in quotes, yes? So let me show you where we're finding this. We're going Tools, Voice Type. Okay, then this cute little microphone is going to pop up. And I click on it. The first time we do it, again, it's going to say allow or block, okay? I'm going to say allow. And then when I talk, See down here at the bottom in these speaker notes, it is typing everything I'm saying. I can even say period, and it will put in a period. Okay, pretty cool. Hopefully for some of our kiddos that are, still writing, and then we can, as a teacher, now, is it perfect? No, the other day it typed, I don't know, something weird like the word flower, and I said something else, but that's okay. So this is an option, you might consider having them do. So let me show you again where we got it. So we go tools, voice type. Again, it didn't ask me to allow or deny. That was just the first time. I click here. And now I want to tell you how I made 43. First, I thought I probably need 3 pennies. So I drug them onto the mat. Then I said, well, maybe I need some dimes. Okay, something like that, right? Okay, so we have a question. Save and how does a student save and send it to you? Are we talking about the slides here? Probably.
I think they are. Or how do they send their answers?
How do
they show you their work?
How do they show you their work? Okay, well, when we were in Google Classroom, so we're back here. This is my student file. This is my student copy of Google Classroom. Here's the work. Let's say I finished it. I can press turn in. Okay, and then that tells my teacher, hey, I'm done with this. Once I press turn in, I can't go back and do anything on it. Okay, so let me show you that. It's going to say, are you sure? And then it's going to basically allow me to go look at it, but I can't do any more work on it. Now, if I were to change my mind as a student, I can unsubmit it, and now I can go back and edit it. But as a teacher, I can see who's turned in their work and not. Now, it doesn't matter if they press turn in. You can still see what they've done and how far they've gotten. If they forget this step, oftentimes I don't always push my students to press the turn in button, because you can still see their work, especially when they're smaller. It's just one extra step, but that's up to you. So if a student adds a voice recording, will automatically save. So if we are talking speech to text like I just did, yes, it will automatically save down in here in the speaker notes. It will not do speech to text up here on the slide. That is one of the bummer parts. We could teach them to come in here, copy, and paste it up here on the slide, but I don't really know if that is worth our time teaching Control-C and Control-V. If you feel it is, you go for it. But I think as a teacher, for me, it's perfectly fine to kind of look down here and see what they say. If this is something you want them to do, I just want to give you an option, because this is a tool that's available. My recommendation, if you obviously model it for them, but I also created this right down in here as directions. So these are just like visuals to remind them of the steps. And if you like this and want to grab it and make a copy, I just slid and did a select all, and you can paste it on yours. So this is just a visual reminder for the kids. What do I click on? Tools, voice type, and then click on microphone. So I like to have these little visual reminders for them. Okay, so on to our resources. Slide 38, there are a plethora of math resources. Obviously, the teacher toolbox is our main go-to spot, but if you were needing to add in additional items to kind of supplement Ready, in the sense that maybe you need some manipulatives, this right here is a treasure trove of math sites that you can go to, of manipulatives and things like that. So let me just pop on there really quickly for you. If you've ever done like Would You Rather, there's a link to that. If you scroll down, there are a bunch of virtual manipulatives that you can have ready. You can link to in your slides. You can use as you teach on Zoom, things like that. Math Reps is definitely is something that if you have a moment and you're interested, you can look at. They have some pre-made slides. Someone asked, can I take it and use it and modify it? Yes, absolutely. So if I click here on Kinder, they have some pre-made ones that I might be interested in. Like, for example, here's a calendar one. If I wanted to do it virtually, obviously you can still do it in your classroom and have that Zoom camera open and I'm doing it with the real board and the real things. But this is an example. If I wanted to grab this, I just click here on the left-hand side, and the slide is highlighted. And then I can do a right click and copy. And then I can go over to my slides that I'm giving out to the kids, and I can do a right click and paste. And now I have my own copy of it. Okay, so that's kind of how you can grab and modify other resources that you see. Here's another really cool one with collaborative manipulatives. Obviously our ELA resources, this is Benchmark. One spot to take a look is from virtual learning. There's been a lot of resources that curriculum has already pulled from this virtual learning spot, but it's definitely something to take a look at if you are needing some more items.
And we've done the same thing for math in CNI that we did with Benchmark for reading. So the first unit is it complements your teacher's edition. It doesn't take the place of it, but it has all those manipulatives that you just showed. They're all there for the teachers, as well as some Khan Academy videos and other resources, extra practice, and all those kinds of things.
Beautiful. Yeah, you guys, it's so nice. It's all that work that's already been done. That's awesome. So I do see a question, and I don't think I was super clear. So let me just slow down and just, okay, so let's pretend this is what I've sent out in Google Classroom. Obviously, I would never send all of this, but let's pretend. So I've worked on it. I'm done working. I believe my work here is done. Google Slides auto saves. So there's nothing a student needs to do to like save it or anything like that. If we want them to come in here and then go to Google Classroom and press turn in, they can, but you will still be able to see their work that they've done even if they don't do that. Let me see, do I still have my classroom open? I think I closed it down, but I can get back into it. So I think the question was, do they need to submit it? Do they need to exit and submit? They don't have to. They literally can just exit here and then go on with their next assignment, because you're going to still see where they are, even if they don't press turn in. Does that kind of make sense, hopefully? Okay, moving on. Let's see here. And we are just a couple minutes away. You guys are troopers. Let me show you some more resources, because I know you do not have enough resources yet, right? Ha ha ha, LOL. Here's 20 additional activities for grades K through 2. We have a pocket chart, a word builder, all sorts of different things there. Hyperdocs, I don't know if you've ever heard of hyperdocs before, but hyperdocs are very similar to interactive slides. They're kind of the older sister of interactive slides. This is a website obviously for elementary, and there's a whole bunch of examples if you're looking kind of for a different variety of resources there. Okay. Then I don't know if you've ever heard of a Bitmoji classroom. So if we're looking for something like enrichment or some additional ideas, pop in the chat if you've ever heard of a Bitmoji classroom or ever seen one. I'm just going to talk really briefly about this, but essentially, when we were having to go to distance learning, some teachers were just like kind of feeling that loss and saying, goodness, how am I going to connect with my students? And so it really started out of the need to connect with students. And so teachers started building these slides like here and making them look like their classroom, so the kids can still feel connected. And they, wherever my calendar is, I'm going to put one that looks like that, and it's going to be clickable, and we're going to be able to do everything that we did in the class, but we're going to make it virtual, right? That's kind of where it started, but it has really grown from there, and it's not so much about the Bitmoji anymore. It's really about making interactive slides. There is a Facebook group for Bitmojis. I put it in the bottom left-hand corner. They share everything for free. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need to do anything. And you don't even need to do this, but this is just one of those enrichment things. So we talked about if, you usually go to the zoo and we may not be able to go to the zoo this year. How can we still give them a similar experience? Well, maybe you do a Bitmoji slide and they click on the pictures and they can see the videos, or they can see the live webcam of the giraffe, right? And still get that experience. This is an example of a PE one, obviously a virtual calendar. This is a birthday celebration to kind of still celebrate those birthdays. This one right here, this teacher built a Bitmoji classroom that looks like her classroom, and then she did a screencast of her morning routine. She first did an intro video of, hi guys, you know, this is today's date, and then we clicked here on this video, and then she says, everybody got a piece of paper, we're gonna write the date today. So this is how she's using it, but that is just a little information about that. I do see some people have already heard about them. It is just another way, if, you know, making a Bitmoji classroom where you have read alouds for the kids makes you happy as a teacher and it can connect with your curriculum, you know, that might be, you know, we like it when we're happy, right? This is just information on how to remove a background, not a big deal. And then for those of you who are talking about Seesaw, you might be using Seesaw. So these same concepts can be used in Seesaw, okay? Now, is there an easy way, if I make something here in Google Slides, is there an easy button where I can just go into Seesaw and press a button and it's going to completely transfer it over for me? There is not. But I do have 4 videos here that kind of show you different ways to do it, because I know that some of you are using Seesaw, and there is a mountain of, you know, like you said, a mountain of resources already out there that you might just want to click and take and use. And so that is there for you for Seesaw. I forgot this one thing here. We're just a couple minutes away. Let me share this, and then I'm going to pause for questions, and it looks like we're going to be wrapping. On slide 26, I bypassed this, and look at this cute emoji. How could I bypass this slide? This is from Teresa Wells. If you click on it, it is going to take you through to the mother load of already created slides for you, which is amazing. So you can click on here. Any one you click on, it will allow you to make a copy, and you can use with your students and modify. So I'm just going to slide down here. And let's see, let's find one. Let's find the cute little bear one at the bottom. There we go. So if I click on one, it's going to come up like this. It's going to start with instructions, maybe a video, and then it's going to have the activities here. So bears in the cave, there are 10 bears. How many bears are in the cave? Okay, so these are already made activities for you. Now here's my last tip before we end for today. When it says view only, do not request edit access. Okay, so for those of us who actually make these slides and share them, and, you know, all those people, don't do that, because there's actually an easier way. And what happens is they get emails after email requesting access. You don't need to do that. So when it says view only, we come here to File, Make a Copy, and then I want the whole presentation. And then it's going to ask me where I want to put it. I'm okay if it goes there in my drive. And now it's going to make me my very own copy. Okay, so let me show you that one more time. When we have something that says view only, we're going to do File, Make a Copy. Okay? Okay. Questions you still have, things that you are still unclear of. Anybody out there? Yes, I love it when they're already made for you. And this resource here with the Teresa Wills things is, you know, definitely a go-to for us, for sure. Okay, so as you are putting your final questions in, all of these resources, the handouts today, the videos, go right here to the CUSD online learning resources that we talked about earlier in the day. And we can find them there a little bit later on. They've got to get inputted first. Where can you go for extra help? Like I said, there is a tech coach in your area. This is the website we just showed you. This is another info site with a plethora of information you can grab. And here is a site to help for students. Any final questions? Okay, so I want to thank Dr. Debbie Para for, being a moderator is not an easy job, and thank you for helping us out today. We very much appreciate it.
I learned so much. Thank you.
Are your ears bleeding? Do you have a headache? I am so sorry.
I'm so thankful we're recording this and we have all your slides. I'm going to be teaching a class at the university. I think this is what I need to know. I don't care if it's for K for 3. It'll be great for my students.
Yeah, absolutely.
Teresa's last name is Wills, isn't it? W-I-L-L-S?
Let me see. I might have put it wrong.
No,
W-I-L-L-S. Yes, right here.
There you go.
And you can go straight there. So again, thank you. I know a 2-hour presentation can be very hard. I know watching it on Zoom is even harder. So thank you for being troopers and sticking it out. Please contact your tech coach when you get stuck, when you forget something, when you need something. That's what we are here for. Again, thank you very much. If you have any final questions, I'll take just a couple. But you have a wonderful rest of your day.
And I think the slides should be up by Monday. Some of you are asking, so they should be up by Monday. And then there was one other question. So that was that. We did spell her name. Okay. That's all I'm seeing.
To get a slide onto Classroom. Okay.
Yeah. Where
did I put it? The problem with giving so many, you get stuck. Where did I put that slide? Definitely check out the Google Classroom training videos for sure. I can't even see where I put my slide here. Here somewhere.
New messages, new messages.
I'll have to find it. Okay. Thank you again, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. And we will go ahead and close out.
Thank you, Karina. It's a great job and a wealth of information. Thank you so much.
One tip for organizing, I just saw that from Diana, is I would come up here and just star it. So if you're trying to get back to this quickly, number one, you can go to the curriculum website is probably going to be your go-to, but I would star that. So let's get to that site real quick, and then we want to bookmark it.
It's showing up. I'm not even
showing. So we come right here, star, and then figure out where I'm going to put it on the bookmark bar, and then press done. And so then that's always right there for you, because we're going to need it. So okay, I will officially say goodbye and thank you guys